everybody, I'm Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today is day 6 of Shark Art Week. I'm so excited about today because it started out as one project and became a whole other project. What you see here is an adorable and cute kawaii style hammerhead unicorn. This was inspired from one of the Shark Week episodes where the guy actually said, it's the unicorn of hammerheads, and that just exploded my brain creatively, and I thought it would be great to do on my project day, and I wanted to show you guys how you paint on denim. So a bunch of things happened during this project, and it ended up being a how to persevere when you're challenged in your art studio event. So not only yes, of course, you're going to have the traceable to this cute kawaii thing, and I'm going to tell you how you get this, but I'm going to talk to you too about how you handle it when you're under pressure and you have to produce a project and things start to go wrong, and some tools and strategies that you can use to get through and still get the job done. So let's look at what gave me so much trouble, my GAC 900. You guys ready? So over here I have this fabulous product, GAC 900, and this particular medium is among a set of mediums that modifies regular acrylic paint to be heat set on fabric. And I actually got a bottle of this and had for some other projects and just didn't get to use it and decided to showcase it on this. I went on the website, I read the instructions, I came back and I followed them. And the primary instruction for GAC 900 is to take your soft body paint. Now in this particular case I'm using a fluid acrylic paint, right? But you could use any soft body paint. You could even probably use a craft paint. And you make a 1-to-1 mixture. And what they mean by that is you make pretty much the same amount of the GAC to the paint. And this is going to give you a very fluid paint that you can paint on fabric, right? You can see that. Oh, there we go. The Starbucks stirrers are not what I would recommend for stir. They're problematic. But I have 1,000 of them, so I keep insisting on using them and making these kinds of messes. So I did a bunch of this, and I really wanted to splatter this jacket, kind of, and really capture that arty, crazy feel. And I splattered, and I splattered, and all the paint vanished into the jacket. And I'm like, man, usually if I get a good stable product and I follow the instructions, I get exactly the result. And then I was saying, well, this would probably work great on white denim. And then I was like, but there is no white denim. That only happened in the 80s, and it was a really bad idea. And I'm like, and I don't know, I can find it. It's probably like in some upscale resale. And it was like a whole problem. And we had gone to our local Goodwill, and I highly recommend whenever you're doing clothing or an upcycle project, start with products from like the Goodwill or resale. That way you're never stressed about the result, right? Because you haven't invested so much in the garment that you're upcycling that you have to be really worried when things start to go astray. And I'm really glad I made that decision because this is a really gorgeous jacket. We're going to see it on Honey later. But if it had been something I had spent hundreds of dollars on and my project started to go south, I would have become so emotionally stressed that I could not have gone on. So at that point, I decided to talk to you guys in group, which was great, and then go to Michael's and just go ahead and get some fabric paint for fabric, right? Because they make a lot of that. The whole idea of mediums and modifiers is not to get extra money out of you. It's just you don't have to buy all new products to do something with your acrylic paint, right? And so I'm like, I don't know what I'm not understanding about the GAC 900, but clearly I'm not understanding something. I go to Michael's and I really look at the products. There's a lot of great products. Fantastic products, but they just weren't in my budget. It just was outside of what I had it in me to do for this particular project at this time. Now, I'm under a time constraint. You may find yourself this holiday craft season under a similar time constraint, right? And feeling like you've got to get something done, and what do? So what I did is I kind of calmed myself down. I did my breathing. I breathed. And I asked myself what was going wrong. And so I had thought about this when I was doing it. I had added white to my paint to improve the opacity because really where I was struggling was the opacity. But I recognized chances were that I was not mindful or technically minded when I read my articles the first pass through. So I went back to the product information sheet guide and read it again to see if there was something I had missed. And what do you know, there was something I had missed, right? And I only would have been able to think about that and even question my own journey, because I had felt so very, very careful with it, if I calmed down, if I did my beading and thought about it. So I went back, I read it, and what I missed was this, is they had said you could also take heavy bodied paint, right, and add the GAC to it. Now, in cups, I found this to be a total, I did not like mixing these together in cups, but I found I could take a little GAC and use my brush and swirl it around here and mix these two together, as you're seeing here, right? Because the whole goal is I'm trying to create a garment that has durability and long wear, right? And isn't gonna, you know, if you're making something for somebody you love, your child, your grandchild, your best friend, your furry friend, you really don't want it to just wear out in 2 seconds. I got this right down to the consistency that I liked. And then what do you know? It worked. And so really that was about just finding myself and recognizing that I know I was working with a good partner. Any of the big companies will have this, to go back and revisit the information fact sheet. Now, let me show you how I painted this on the jacket. So having thought about this project, you can see where splatter went everywhere but into the jacket where it vanished. I'm now back visiting what I feel like I paid attention to what wasn't working, and obviously it was coverage. Now I'm using my heavy body paint that I mixed as I just demonstrated to you. I've chalked in the hammerhead with my chalk pencil, because chalk pencils work perfectly great. If you want to do tracing, you can use Quilter's transfer paper, and I'll make sure you guys have a link to that. And so I'm going in white first. See, that was the first thing I paid attention to, was that I was having coverage problems. And where I wanted very bright colors, but I still wanted this to be a very flexible jacket, because my daughter doesn't like stiff and uncomfortable things, which is why I kind of really hung in with this product, with this medium, is because we had to solve this problem. And she's like now counting on this jacket for, you know, the school year. So I really got to paint it, besides the fact that I got to make you guys a video. So I'm painting this all in white, because by painting this in white, I know I'm going to be able to get bright, vivid, saturated pastel colors. And I may even be able to reuse all the paint that I mixed out from the previous project before, because I had put it in little cups, and those little cups allow me to store the paint for a minute. So this, even though this was like this whole day kind of drama thing, my paint was staying very fresh. So that was something I was really grateful about. So now I'm testing, and you can see me splattering with my Galaxy splatter brush, my bigger brush. And what do you know? The paint is not vanishing completely into the denim. It's actually coming up there. I'm getting some pink, so start with some yellow, I'm getting some pink. I'm just trying to play into some of my daughter's favorite colors and things that I think are traditionally used in kind of more kawaii to be art, just really cute and fun. So pinks and aquas and ducky yellows were what I wanted to go with. And if you guys have painted with me before, I'm doing my controlled drip. You know how I do it. I'm highlighting elements of the jacket. Now I'm using the paint as it was meant to be. So this is supposed to be like a watercolor effect when you do the one-to-one with the fluid paint. And now that I understand that, I'm like, oh, this is how I'm using it. And now I'm getting a result. It wasn't going to splatter for me. It wasn't going to do that. And by not letting myself get so frustrated that I couldn't see a way out, I'm going to find my way back in, if that makes sense. So now I'm painting the hammerhead's head. Actually, I think I'm using a Quinacridone Red with this. I'll definitely put the exact colors I used in the description below. And I'm adding the orange. I'm going to do just the rainbow thing, because you know I love a rainbow. I love everything rainbows are about and what they stand for, and I will rainbow all the things. And I guess now Hammerhead Unicorn, all the things. So I'm just trying to create a cute little guy with a cute little form that's super bright and cheerful, that's going to reflect my daughter's youthful energy. And so now I'm getting some success. And I'm like, all right, so this is just going to be like my canvas. What am I dealing with? Some wrinkling, some placement. You know, I have a cardboard form underneath that I had for coloring t-shirts. And I've just got the jacket taped around it with duct tape. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to just follow the instructions for heat setting it and put it in the dryer for 50 minutes at its highest setting. I'm using my hair dryer to accelerate the surface drying of my paint. I'm not worried about it sticking to the backing board, but if you were, you could use 4mm plastic. And I'm just like, all right, how's it drying? How's it doing? How's it going? And I'm going to need to line this, and I'm going to need to create some thoughtful sort of, you know, character elements to my cute little unicorn hammerhead. I'm really into the fact that there could be unicorn hammerheads. And so I'm taking my black fluid paint, actually. I didn't use the heavy body for this. And I'm lining him, and I just really want to have like that cartoon effect. Now, I have to say, as this is drying, I'm pretty happy with the result because the fabric was staying flexible. I'm kind of placing in my unicorn horn with the black, and I'm going to make, now these are pretty big eyes for this particular art style, but you know what? I'm the generation I am, and we like a bigger eye. We big eye group. So I'm putting in the big black eyes, and I'm going to do the little kind of emoji mouth, pretty much the one you see in Pushing Cats was sort of my inspiration here. And you're like, where's his teeth? I figure at this point that I'm going to give him like a snaggletooth or something at this point, and I'm just trying to brighten the colors where I feel like I want them brighter. But you can see it's really coming together, right? And I'm feeling better. I put a little cuteness at his cheeks, a little bright red at his cheeks, and now I'm taking my metallic gold paint, which does work with the GAC 900, and lining the horn. And then I'm going to come back and add some kind of metallic gold to this, you know, just so the horn feels super magical, as it should. I'm letting the layers dry. I'm adding the white snaggletooth because, you know, he's a shark. And I'm going to add the 2 reflections. So just remember that if there's a reflection on this side, it needs to be here and here. They're like diagonal matches. So you wouldn't want to have them be the opposite because then your animal will end up cross-eyed. So you'll notice that I line those up. And I'm going to also do the wet lining around the eye, which is where I take white and line around the eyes to make them seem wetter and happier. And I'm fixing a little craziness in her chin, and then I'm lining the horn. And again, this traceable is going to be available to you guys. You're certainly welcome to use this. You transfer it onto denim or any fabric or quilting with the fabric transfer paper. And I'll make sure you have links for the cups and the GAC and everything you need to know at the end. Interesting thing, on my signature, I went back with a more fluid mix to make sure that it was really, one of the things is like when I painted fabric before, the signature would flake off, which is always super annoying because, you know, people are flexible and they move, and acrylic paint is flexible, but it's not that flexible. That's why you use this. So this was my journey with GAC 900. And that's how I got through it when things started to go wrong, you know, which is just ask myself that retrospective question. What about my project isn't working? And what do I know about my product to help me figure out how to make it work? And in this case, it was I needed to improve the opacity. And I recognize that there may have been some information to reread. So when you're struggling, go back and reread the manufacturer's instructions. Take a deep breath. Yes, you're under pressure. You've got to get this gift out, this present, this event, this show, this video. But remember that you're never going to be thinking as well as when you're calm. So take a minute to be present and calm yourself down and just go through your checklist. What is it? What am I trying to do? And what is it doing? And how can I change that? Maybe it's adding white to the paint. For me, and that didn't work. For me, it was going back and changing to the heavy-bodied paint to get the coverage I was looking for. On our way out, I'm going to let my daughter model the jacket from behind so you can see how gorgeous this garment is on. And I hope you're living Shark Week. I hope you're saving the fins and you're thinking about these beautiful animals as they are really all over the planet right now as far as I can determine. Be good to yourselves, be good to the sharks, and I want to see you at the easel really soon. Check out my kid.